So, Dada Maheshvarananda is an author of 6 books. He's edited 9 others. No, I have not read all of them. He's the director of the Prout Research Institute in Nashville, Tennessee, here in the U.S. He'll be talking to us, excuse me, today about water conservation. And he's already cooked lunch for 12 this morning, apparently. I'm sure he did not use too much water doing that. Anyway, take it away, Dada.
I hope you can see that. Namaskar. I would like to talk to you about models of rural holistic development and water management. And I will be showing some photos of rural holistic development master units around the world. These 2 photos are from the one in Vietnam near Ho Chi Minh City. P.R. Sarkar gave the explanation, Model Rural Multi-Purpose Development Centers, a very complex name. But for short, he called them master units. And he said these are like nerve centers of the society. Nerves are essential to a body, so master units demonstrate systems that can be replicated to transform extractive, exploitative economy to a vibrant, equitable one. And this photo is from the Ananda Kirtana master unit near Juiz de Fora, Brazil. And this is the meditation hall on the top of a hill overlooking the master unit. B.R. Sarkar said that a master unit should be in every block. A block in India is equivalent to a county in England or in the United States. Every country has different divisions and subdivisions of territory, but you can say every 100,000 population should have one of these master units. And these miniature models expand into a network involving more and more people. You can also think of them as incubation centers and as eco-villages, ecological villages. This is a photo from the master unit in Illinois in the United States. These are self-reliant models. They should be as economically self-sufficient in all respects as much as possible. And then this phrase that P.R. Sarkar said, I think is very interesting because he said it's a combination of Oriental sublimity, to be sublime, and Western dynamicity, to be dynamic. And I think it's interesting because I think that's a very good explanation also of the Planetary Leadership Training program and of Ananda Marga in general. So this is a photo from Ananda Suruchi Master Unit in Taiwan. P.R. Sarkar gave this model and gave this target to Ananda Margis 40 years ago. So there are more than 100 master units today, and many of them are over 40 years old. Some are just a piece of land. He said they should be minimum 5 acres in English system, England and America, or 2 hectares in the international system. So that's pretty small. So some mast units are just land and a building, a farmhouse. But others are really developed. These are 10 that are in the United States and Canada, where I happen to live. This is just the barn overlooking the gardens in the barn at the Ananda Viplava mast unit in Cairo, New York. They pronounce it Cairo instead of Cairo in the United States. Master units are examples of the progressive utilization theory, or Prout. They serve the people by all-round service. Prout and all-round service rendered temporary service with the flow of life. Spiritual philosophy is another type of service, and that's above the flow of life. That's kind of eternal, lasting. So these are 2 photos from Ananda Gauri mast unit in Denmark. The primary requirements of an ideal mast unit correspond to the 5 minimum requirements in Prout: to provide food and raw materials for agro-industries organically, to grow them organically, to produce sufficient fibers and fabrics for clothing, education with primary and high schools, medical units that emphasize alternative medical treatments, to construct houses for extremely poor people. So, examples of every type of the minimum requirements of life. Master units are community. In my opinion, the more people who live or come to participate in some way, the healthier, the more vibrant the master unit will be. There is a question about land ownership. One way to do it is to create a land trust or cooperative housing where the land is cooperatively owned. There are other questions about that. One way is if Ananda Marga, for example, owns 5 acres of land, and then interested people who want to be part of this community buy properties all around that original site. And you need to comply with different land laws in different countries. They're different in every place, so you have to consider that. This is the Ananda Valley mast unit in Covilhã, Portugal. It's a very exciting place, and every year they have a festival of bliss that about 2,000 people attend. It's very exciting for about 5 days every summer. Master units earn the goodwill of the people through the genuine service that the master unit provides. The more goodwill it creates. These are photos from Poland mast unit, which again has been around for 40 years. And there's a Dada there. He's from India. He's been there for 40 years, I believe, or at least 35. He lends his tractor to the neighbors whenever they need it. and other farm equipment. And he knows homeopathy. So people come to him when they're sick or diseased, and free of charge, he gives them these little homeopathic remedies. And many times they're cured. So not recently, a few years ago, 3 of his neighbors came and said, Dada, we have a request. He said, sure, what is it? How can I help you? He said, we want you to be our mayor in charge of our village. He said, no, I'm a monk. I'm not a politician. No, it's okay, Dada. You speak very good Polish now. And, we all trust you. We all like you. We want you to be our mayor. And Dada apologized profusely, but he didn't accept. But he says, I will support whoever you elect. And he did. He does. But that's just an example of how it's possible to win the goodwill and love of the people around. There are 3 types of mass unit service projects. One is service to your local neighbors. One is residential service programs, so people come and live there. And the third type is health and educational services for visitors. This, for example, is the Umanivas Women's College at Ananda in India. I have a beautiful college, and these are the students and teachers. So the first type is service to neighbors. Homeopathy medicines, like I gave the example in Poland, acupuncture in Ananda. Schools in many poor countries, they have schools. Farmers cooperative and farmers markets, for example, the Hawaii Mass Unit where Krishna Prema lives. Jobs in Sao Paulo, Brazil, for example, they employ a lot of the neighbors. Sharing farm equipment, I gave that example. Agrico industry to buy and process the produce of the neighbor farmers. Community festivals, like in Portugal. Heirloom seedlings, for example, Dharmalaya. And teaching yoga and meditation in all master units. Residential service programs where clients come and stay at the master unit for several months or longer. For example, in Anandanagar in India, they have a high school and they have a college. Now, they also have dormitories. So students come from all over India. They live in the dormitory and they go to school every day. So that's an example of a residential service program. In some places, they have addiction rehabilitation programs, and these can receive government funding. There are programs for the physically disabled, and the mentally disabled also can receive government funding usually. And for newly released prisoners, the Prison Ashram Project of Human Kindness Foundation, for example. And one program that I've always appreciated is the farm in Tennessee. An intentional community was started in 1971, caused the rebirth of midwifery in the United States. Ina May Gaskin, the author of this book, she's written several seminal books about midwifery. They made an advertisement at the beginning that any pregnant woman could come there, live there for free, and they would help with the childbirth. And after that, the mother could keep the child and leave, keep the child and continue to live there, or give up the child and the community would adopt the child. And I've often thought, I wish that every pregnant woman in the world had that opportunity if she wanted. I think we would need less abortions if that opportunity was there. Another one is health and educational services for visitors, where clients come from some distance. This is a photo of the Future Vision Master Unit in Sao Paulo, Brazil. They have over 100 people coming to biopsychology seminars every weekend, all the weekends of the year. Yoga retreats, day visits by school groups, and all types of health service therapy, naturopathy, Ayurvedic fasting camps, wellness centers, for example. I live on the Ananda Girisuta Master Unit in Asheville, North Carolina. There are several institutions there. There's a Prana Institute. That's the top right-hand photo here. And they have beds for 30 people. And almost every weekend of the year, they have retreats going on. Meditation retreats, wellness retreats. And sometimes they rent out to other yoga groups. There's the Prana Wellness Center that gives juice cleansing. This is at the Prana Wellness Center. The Morning Breeze Daycare Center has 15 children, full capacity, a 5-star rating from the government. The Neo-Humanist College of Asheville, where I'm speaking from today. The Prout Research Institute. This is a photo, pretty recent, of the construction that's underway there. The Women's Lotus House for retreats and training for women. Natural farming courses. There are 24 adults and 7 kids, all of whom meditate regularly, all living in this 1-mile radius circle. It's an inspiring place, and more people are moving in. It's an inspiring place to be. How to design a master unit? Usually you start by growing food with small-scale integrated farming. Everybody needs food. And a farmer's market, a bakery, a cafe, medicinal plants, natural building techniques, cooperatives. All this can evolve from that initial farming. And you can have models of renewable energy, biogas, solar, wind. This is just a funny list of instructions for Ananda Nagar that P.R. Sarkar gave, but kind of showing you an idea of how detailed and specific were his extensive plans for this master unit in India. Prout proposes planning boards using encouraging sustainable models. And let me talk briefly about the water crisis in the world. Today, 1 billion people, that's 1/7 of our current population, lack safe drinking water. 2.5 billion lack access to adequate sanitation, according to the World Health Organization. The Secretary General of the United Nations said that drinking unsafe water kills 30,000 people each week. More people die from unsafe water than from war. This is preventable. $50 billion a year to provide clean water toilets to everyone is all it would cost. Why we don't do that? It's not our priority. 70% of fresh water used by humans goes to agriculture, and 30% of that is used in raising animals for meat. If people became vegetarian, that would go a long way to reducing our water consumption. Reforestation is the best way to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and give off oxygen that we breathe, trees. Trees cause rainfall and store rainwater in their roots, reducing erosion and pollution of waterways. Forests function as carbon sinks, removing 3 billion tons of carbon each year from the atmosphere. Without displacing agriculture or cities, the Earth can sustain almost 1 billion hectares of new forests. The most forest-ready lands are in Russia, Canada, Brazil, Australia, the United States, and China. These are the places that have the most available land that could become forests if we plant them. Big dams are a problem too. There are 58,000 big dams in the world that block 2/3 of river water. They block fish passage and starve subsistence farm fishers. They radically alter river regimes and aquatic creatures' life cycles. Small-scale dams are much better. For example, the Mississippi River is the largest river in North America, and it carries so much nitrogen from agricultural runoff that creates a vast dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. Every year, that red area on the maps is in the dead zones every year. So there are great battles in the United States, for example, over the Colorado River. And P.R. Sarkar foreshadowed this. He said that the 3 stages, the hills, the plains, the delta, powerful boards of experts should be established which contain representatives of all 3 stages. No country should be allowed to use water according to its own wish. They each must consult with the others in order to make peace. And this you can see in many countries of the world today. There are battles over water. And that concludes my presentation.